Okay, welcome back. Mr. Akishiju is still with us. Mr. Ni Akishiju is a journalist, writer, and policy affairs analyst. And we're looking at the statement that certain federal government institutions will be coming back to Lagos, the Federal Airports Authority of Nigeria, and the central, some segments of the central bank. And is it much ado about nothing when some people now begin to run a commentary that this is a disenfranchising some aspects, some people, some parts of the country? All regions should be able to appear to participate in quote-unquote governance. So, as I said, the question is it much ado about nothing, or is there indeed any substance to what is being alleged? Mr. Abubakar from Kaduna, thank you very much for holding on. Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Anguliori, good morning.
Thank you for calling in.
Good morning for a wonderful job you are doing.
Thank you, sir.
Anguliori, let me just put my own contribution small on this CBN move, or an important department in the CBN moving to Lagos. You see, when we are doing things, we should think of every angle, because this CBN is for the Nigeria, and Abuja is Nigeria and is federal capital. And by law, all the banks supposed to have their headquarters in Abuja. There is no reason why somebody would say just because Lagos is a business area that some key sensitive offices from CBN should move to Lagos, because it is money. If it is something that you cannot do through internet, then you can complain. And when we are look at it critically, at least we cannot shy away from saying this is politics. And when you are doing politics, you should do it with caution, because let somebody, or let you create a loophole where somebody will be thinking you want to sideline him. This CBN has been in this Abuja, and the business have been moving all smoothly. Why should now somebody say it is not moving fine? If it is security reason, federal government or any government, the purpose, the primary aim of any government is to keep people's lives and their properties. So if you carry CBN now from Abuja because of security, are you saying the people should die? CBN is better than human beings that voted you into power? If we continue with this way, one will say Tinubu's second tenure is in jeopardy.
What do you say, Mr. Abubakar, about the argument of efficiency of commercial and business operations? What do you say to that?
So if they say it's for the efficiency of the commercial businesses, every business is being done through internet now, and the money is being transferred from one hand to another through banks to others' accounts. And from China, you can transfer money to Nigeria. From Lagos to Abuja, it's difficult to transfer it through internet. Ankuliori.
Okay.
So to me,
so that's
efficiency does not even come, Ankuliori.
Okay. All right then.
They can do it.
I just wanted to get your take on it.
They don't want to do it because now they have built the office in that CBN. More than 600 offices are there, and each office can occupy 10 officers. Now they want to move and leave empty rooms just for the building to collapse.
All right. Well, thank you, Mr. Abubakar, for calling in from Kaduna on this question. I'm happy to have this particular perspective. Mr. Ni Akishiju, this indeed, more or less, was the perspective that was being advanced by the Joint Action Committee of Northern Youth Associations.
Yes. Well, I think I must first correct an impression made by Malam Abubakar one, the immediate excuse or the immediate reason for relocation, one, is that the CBN headquarters in Abuja is overcrowded. You have a 4,000 capacity payroll, that is about more than 4,000 staff, you know, and the whole capital, I mean the whole office, the central office there, cannot take up to 2,200. So you have inconvenience of space. And when you have inconvenience of space, it also impacts efficiency. But more than that, the truth of the matter is internet is an enabler. You still have human beings that have to interface and interact with internet platforms to administer whatever is the mandate of particular offices. So the fact that you have internet is not an immediate solution to the challenges of what we are talking about. We are talking about banking supervision, for instance. You need accredited officials of the CBN to physically interface, you know, with banking deposit money banks. And if we are talking about banks, we are not just talking about commercial banks alone. You have merchant banks, you have non-financial banks, you have discount houses, all manners of finance houses. So all those units, all those companies, as it were, form their own ecosystem. You know that you need accredited officers of the CBN to interface with. It's just like an auditor, for instance. You don't expect an auditor to audit all your books, as it were, online. There will always be a point for physical interface and interaction, you know, and that forms the basis of auditing in the first instance. So, and again, you also have convenience of access by these publics, as it were, and I'm talking about, in the case of CBN, the financial institutions that also need to engage with the CBN by access. And by access, I mean how fast, how speedy can they get in touch or touch base with their regulator, the CBN being their regulators. Would they need to spend so much, outside their states or outside their area of operation for them to come talk to their regulators and all that? What is the cost implication of that kind of engagement? At the end of the year, when you collectively add all together, we can say that more than 10 billion naira is lost to such kind of engagement. Would we consider that as efficient? We will consider that as rational. Money that could have been saved either for shareholders in the case of those who owns the company, or for Nigeria in the case of the three tiers of government that they will share eventually. So these are larger considerations than it's about one region marginalizing the other. For me, I am looking principally at earnings, the credit and debit side of the ledger. What is the bottom line at the end of the day?
Let me bring in Eric in Delta State. Thank you for holding on, Eric. Good morning. Eric, are you still there? Oh dear. Does that mean the call from Eric in Delta State dropped? Eric? Eric, can you hear us?
Yes, I'm here. Good morning.
Okay. Please carry on, Eric.
Hello, good morning.
Good morning. Please go ahead now.
Yeah, good morning.
Good morning.
Yes, I can hear loud and clear.
Okay. Continue, please.
Yes, I've been listening to your programs. I really enjoy it.
We're waiting for you. If you heard me, please continue. I think there's an awful delay between us because I was encouraging Eric to please go ahead, but perhaps there's the delay and he wasn't hearing me as I was speaking, and because he was still affirming to something that I had said before. And the point is, Mr. Akishiju, that I think you've made the point that, look, nothing is being taken away. We're talking about the central bank, for instance. Nothing is being taken away or taken out of central bank operations. But you've spoken about the overcrowding, the efficiency that is compromised as a result of that. Then you've also talked about some aspects of the business that might not be known to many people. So I guess really this is going to be a matter of, you had said that we need to have a definitive statement. It can help if Central Bank itself comes in on the matter and speaks to the matter as to why these movements are necessary. It's not as if something is being taken away from Central Bank. After all, Central Bank belongs to Nigeria. It doesn't matter where it is. Wherever it is the Central Bank of Nigeria, not the Central Bank of Ikorekene or Ilasamaja or anything like that. So it doesn't matter where it is. And perhaps the Central Bank will also speak to the issue. It hasn't for now. But that whole matter about the efficiency cannot be underemphasized. I didn't hear, but I'm being told that somebody from Magodo.
Come again, please.
Good morning. I didn't catch your name. Peter from Magodo. Good morning to you, Peter.
Yeah, my name is Peter Chikos from Magodo.
Okay. Please go ahead.
I just wanted to contribute to the program.
All right, please do.
Okay, it's unfortunate that Nigerians are with this mentality of this zone. We are the owner of this, or the owner of that. And it's quite unfortunate, Me, I have even been canvassing that if there's a way we can even do this rotational division in a way of making it, let it be 10 years. In terms of making a capital of Nigeria, we'll make it 10 years in Enugu, make it 10 years in Abuja, make it 10 years in Lagos State. At least for us to be able to balance the whole thing, because it's just the way I see things, Nigeria is not balanced, and I think Nigeria needs a restructuring. In this issue of CBN, CBN is a financial institution. If you say CBN should be in Obomosho for it to function effectively, I don't think there's any wrongdoing in that. And I really appreciate Asiwaju Bola Tinubu, who is my leader. I'm not saying this because I know him, because I know who he is. He's not a tribalistic person. I'm an Igbo guy, but I go to his house in the midnight. He opens his gate for me. So that's if there's a way he can do this. And other agencies who are functioning in Abuja, that are in Abuja that are not functioning well. If they are domiciled in Lagos and therefore they will function well in Lagos, that is substitute. It's not a big deal. If it's in Enugu they can function, then decentralize all these things. Because one zone is just being developed with all of Commonwealth. It's not supposed to be like that. These things need to be balanced. That's my contribution. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much for calling in. And it certainly isn't a political matter, as Mr. Akishiju, our guest this morning, has been at pains to explain. It can only be for efficiency, but these conversations are not unusual. And there are people who are saying that, isn't it about time that we sort of, turn down the volume a bit, even though everybody has a right to their say, turn down the volume a bit on some of these sentiments that are divisive more than being cohesive. But as I said, people still will have their say, and that is because of the way they see it. And Mr. Bubakar, who is the only person who has called in so far, sort of on the side of, indeed, he does see some of the critics. He does see reason in some of the observations of the critics. But Mr. Abubakar was saying that, look, there's a lot that can be done online now. A lot is being done online. Why wasn't that explored? But then there's the whole matter of efficiency, overcrowding, as we've spoken about, and additionally, Mr. Kishiju has added that there are aspects of the job, as it relates to CBN, for instance, in the supervisory role, where there has to be a one-on-one engagement. So if all of these things are, adjusted in the right way. But some people still think that there still is a way in which you can see it as a disenfranchising my region. Then a lot more, perhaps, observation and study is required. Did I have Mr. Mohammed in Abuja? Good morning to you, sir.
Yes. Good morning, Uncle Yori. You are welcome back.
Good morning. Thank you very, very much.
Happy New Year, happy Christmas, happy everything.
Compliments of the New Year. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah, you know my point. I'm a die-hard supporter of Mr. President. We have campaigned for him, but this time around, I'm not going with his policies now. We complain about fuel subsidy removal, and now some of his workers are now trying to damage his image. If Obasanjo cannot relocate FAN and all other departments to Lagos, why him? Why now? Why now? Obasanjo did not relocate anything to Ogun State. Why now to Lagos? There is a suspicion there. Like that, if this thing is happening now, the headquarters of Abuja will be removed too, back to Lagos. Because that time he will say, I don't need anybody to vote for me. I can do whatever I want to do.
Yeah, but Mr. Mohammed, it's not that Central Bank is no more in Abuja. It's not that Federal Airports Authority is no more in Abuja. That's not what is being said.
Central Bank in Lagos, they have every zone, every state, they have Central Bank. Why can't they do whatever they want to do there? Why should they remove the departments from Abuja to Lagos?
Okay, I hear what you're saying. I mean, I'm hearing what you're saying without comment, because that's what you've just said. Especially the way in which you phrased it, when Obasanjo was there, him being from Ogun State, he didn't reallocate or relocate anything to Ogun State. And the fact that the president, he's known as a Lagosian, he was a governor of Lagos State, and that Lagos is mentioned now, you've sort of linked that to the president, and why now are the kind of questions you put. Well, Mr. Akishiju, as I said, everybody has the right to their say. You have heard it. Obasanjo didn't send anything to Ogun. Why is Tinubu sending things to Lagos?
Well, I think business decisions are business decisions. They are what you call objective, hard-nosed decisions. It is about how you maximize your resources in a way that you draw the optimal form of earnings or income from the maximization of that resources. So it's not about who you are or where you come from. I don't think this decision by the CBN and the FAN, the Ministry of Aviation, for instance, have to do with where the president comes from. It's just like there was a time we had a huge argument on where the headquarters of the MPA should be. There was an argument as huge and vociferous as this when there was that talk about retaining the MPA in Lagos. And the substantive, objective, rational position was that MPA had to do with waters, had to do with water transportation. And therefore, it has a history of establishment in Lagos. And therefore, it was just appropriate that it should be retained in Lagos. And the argument won. And that's the same argument I am canvassing here. The truth of the matter is, yes, you have CBN offices across states in Nigeria. And wherever the CBN decides to move its unit, it is actually the CBN acting as the Central Bank of Nigeria wherever it is operating. And in this case, there is a need for convenience. There is a need for access. There is a need to save costs. There is a need to stop leakages. We all continue to talk about leakages in government revenue channels. And if a government agency had decided to block such leakage, should we then start attributing some other sentiments, into such decision? I think this.
Let me come in again, Mr. Kishiju. So, sorry for I'm always doing this, interrupting you. So I beg your pardon, but it's because of calls that are coming in. Mr. Ademola in Ota. Good morning to you, sir.
Yeah.
Hello, Ademola in Ota.
Yes, yes.
Good morning. Go ahead, please.
Thank you. Yeah. Good morning, Mr. Yori and your guests.
Good morning.
I want to look at this issue from this point. Yes, yes. All right. I think wherever CBN is, it is not the location that determines the performance or fun. It is the abilities of the people working in those organizations at a particular time that determines. So if they are there in Abuja, if they do what they are supposed to do, you get results. If they are moved to anywhere, if they don't do the work in Lagos, you will still not get the results. So what we need to consider, to bother ourselves with is, let there be performance. Let them say where they are. If they have to move, it will cost money. They should remain where they are so that they can relate with other government agencies that are there in Abuja. So this will not be an issue. I want to say that let us demand performance from the officials there, not the movement. That's not going to solve any problem. So they should perform. And if they don't perform, let's change them and put in the right people there.
Okay.
It's because they are not performing. That's why we are talking about movement.
Well, I don't know. I don't know if non-performance is the argument, sir.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your calling in. But if you've been following, it's not about performance per se. A number of reasons have been adduced. Perhaps you hadn't joined the program at the time, and I don't think the least of them is the whole, reported overcrowding, as it were, in the facilities at Central Bank over there, if that is indeed the situation, among other reasons. But thank you very much for calling in, Mr. Ademola, and indeed the same appreciation goes to other people that have called in. And I don't think we should overflog this, but we have aired it at least, and we've heard from our analyst what some of the issues are. Perhaps the government itself, through the Federal Minister of Information, needs to also get in on the act and sort of sensitize people, inform people what's going on, because it is the right of people to know. Mr. Akishiju, I don't think one should say much more about that. I want to appreciate what you've brought to the conversation, the enlightenment that has come. And the conversation, of course, will continue as we go ahead. Thank you very much, Mr. Akishiju, for coming on. All right, then. Program today. Please join us tomorrow for a fresh edition. I am Yori Folarin. Bye-bye for now.